everyone, it's Raquel of Raquel's Carbon Cuisine, and today's recipe is going to be some delicious curried duck. Have you ever tried curried duck before? Well, stick around and I'll show you how to make one of the best tasting duck. Hands down. Then I'm going to have this with some silky homemade roti. Absolutely delicious. So in this bowl, I have one whole duck under the pieces, and this was nicely washed, and this is about 4 pounds. And as you can see, the duck have been singed, which really helps to remove the feathers, making it nice and clean, but it gives the skin that roasted look, which also gives the meat that kick-starting flavor. Yes. So now I'm going to season this with a bit of salt, and here you're going to use your favorite seasoning. I'm going to add some all-purpose seasoning and of course some jerk seasoning, which in fact consists of the finest ingredients. So just use your very favorite seasoning. Now I'm going to add some duck and goat curry powder. Also I'm going to add some regular curry powder, then in with my green seasoning blend, and this consists of blended scallion and thyme, garlic and onion, and pimento peppers. And this green blend smells really good. Now I'm going to mix, making sure every piece of duck is nicely and thoroughly seasoned. Then I'm going to cover this down and I'm going to allow this to sit and marinate for at least 30 minutes so all these lovely herbs and spices could soak within. So now that my duck is nicely marinated, to my thick Dutch pot, I'm going to add some cooking oil along with some chopped garlic and onion. And I'm going to saute this just for a little bit, releasing those lovely flavors. Now in with the 2 blends of curry powder. Yes, I'm going to allow this to toast a bit, baking those lovely flavors from the grains of the curry powder. Yes, and when I tell you, this is smelling really good. Now in with the duck. So now you want the duck to soak up all that toasted curry infused with garlic and onion, making sure everything is nicely coated and no remnants is left at the bottom of the pot. And this right here is smelling so good, and it's not even started cooking as yet. So now I'm going to cover this under the lowest heat, and I'm going to allow this to sit and create its own juices, producing its own moisture. So about 5 minutes later, this have created its own liquid and it's already looking so good. Now you want this to cook in its own juices, render down whatever fat is there, while at the same time locking and sealing in all those lovely flavors. So now I'm going to allow this to cook into its own juices for another 10 minutes or so. And this is really how flavors are created, allowing your stew to cook down in its own natural juices before adding any form of liquid. So about 15 minutes of simmering and you could hear that lovely sizzle, not to even mention how absolutely good this is smelling. The flavor have sealed into the duck. So now, as not to drop the cooking temperature, I'm going to add some hot water, and duck requires a longer cooking time to cook than chicken because it have that leaner texture. Now I'm going to cover this down and I'm going to allow this to cook until it's nice and tender. So about 40 to 45 minutes later, the liquid have reduced drastically. The meat is nice and tender. Now you want to taste, you're going to add some salt if needed. Now I'm going to add some fresh thyme to this along with some whole pepper. Also the final ingredient, which is some coconut milk. And it's very optional, but I could tell you this makes a world of difference in flavor. I'm going to cover this down. I'm going to allow this to cook for another 7 to 10 minutes. And then it's done. Total cooking time of about 50 to 55 minutes. And this curried duck is not only ready, but the flavor is on point, smells, tastes absolutely delicious. I'm going to leave enough gravy in the pot because I'm going to have this with some silky homemade roti. I want to thank you so very much for watching. A full ingredient amount will be listed down below in the description box. And if you like this video, please do not leave without clicking the like button.